snow-covered Alps of Davos, and on the road, it's icy, preparing visitors for a freezing weather. This is what 2,800 participants from 120 countries of the 2024 World Economic Forum are up for from January the 15th to the 19th. Significant matters of economic concern are on the agenda for the 54th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. This year's theme, Rebuilding Trust, is against the backdrop of a complicated geopolitical and economic order, a tone set by the president of the forum at the pre-summit media briefing.
The most pressing challenges that we are faced with globally are transboundary. They travel without a passport. Climate change, being future pandemics, cyber attacks. The only way to deal with this is that countries, nations, and business collaborate. And even in this fractured world, there are opportunities to coming together and find common solutions.
Channel's television team, who is in Davos to cover the summit, is led by our London bureau chief, Juliana Olainka. She reports that Nigeria sees the meeting as an important platform to contribute to conversations and highlight business and investment opportunities.
The 54th annual gathering of the World Economic Forum has kicked off today in Davos, which is a plush Swiss ski resort in Europe. As to be expected, there are hundreds of business leaders and politicians here, really to discuss the big issue of the day or of the year. And according to the WEF President Borja Brenda, the big issue of this time is about rebuilding trust and how governments are going to be able to navigate around artificially led disinformation, misinformation that could do some really crucial damage to the polls this year. We know that this year is a record year for elections, affecting 60% of the global economy. The UK Prime Minister, of course, is expected to lose his position when Brits go to the polls later this year. But how is artificial intelligence going to impact that? That is a topic that they are going to discuss. Of course, they cannot do that without looking at the geopolitical backdrop. There are Western-led strikes in Yemen because of the swathe of attacks that have been witnessed along the Red Sea. Of course, there is still that ongoing battle in the Ukraine. I do believe President Volodymyr Zelensky will be here again to speak with delegates and I presume plead for more arms and for more aid. And then, of course, there is the massive headache of the war between Israel and Hamas. And those are geopolitical issues. Of course, this does affect the world economy, but there are economic issues that need to be discussed, like high interest rates, record high inflation. That does appear to be going down, but global growth is crawling. It's not going as fast as it should be. So those are the important issues of the day that are going to be discussed. But of course, you know, WEF does have some negative connotations. I think you only need to go on social media platforms such as X, formerly known as Twitter, to have a look at some of the conspiracy theorists people are writing about the global elites who they believe use WEF and the setting specifically here in Davos to network, to schmooze, to have champagne and canapes and not really tackle those domestic issues. So that is something that delegates will need to think about. In fact, I was speaking to the Honourable Minister of Finance, Mr. Wale Edun, earlier today, and I spoke to him about the theme Rebuilding Trust and how this impacts people in Nigeria.
Well, we're here this week led by His Excellency the Vice President Kashim Shettima, leading the Nigerian delegation to this all-important dialogue. We have made it a point to be part of the conversation, to be in the room all around the world this year, from the Paris Financing Summit all the way through to, of course, UNGA and COP28. Not forgetting the World Bank annual meetings. I think the important topics of the day now are climate change and more generative AI, or artificial intelligence in particular. And it's important that we as Nigerians are here. We are the largest country in Africa. We do have an important role to play, and so we're here to make our voices heard and to also tell our own story of progress, our own story of making Nigeria an investment destination.
Monday today has been pretty light, actually, although I expected it's going to get much busier later in the week. We know, of course, the Nigeria delegation is being led by His Excellency the Vice President, Kashim Shettima. Again, he is with a pretty small team, but they do have a robust engagement, and I do believe there is going to be a specific Nigeria night where they are able to tackle some of those domestic issues. But it is absolutely freezing. The altitude is high, but Channels TV, of course, are on the ground, and we will be bringing you all of the latest coverage from Davos as and when we have it. Juliana Olayinka reporting for Channels Television News in Davos.